no system that's diseased has a healthy gut. In yoga, we say that your gut is, how do I put this, is your emotional center. In Chinese, they refer to that area as your fire. And so when that fire gets upset, or when that emotional center gets upset, look at what we do even with food. Some of us stress eat, some of us stress starve. When we're happy, we don't even care about food. And all of a sudden we're losing weight despite what we eat sometimes. When we're unhappy, we may get gastrointestinal issues. And then also what this does is it starts adjusting our posture. So what we want to look at here is how do we support our gut health all year round, but also keeping in mind that our gut health is super important when it comes to fighting off a virus. Here's why. When you perforate your stomach lining through various irritations in the stomach, through upsetting microbiome, through inflammation, through taking too many antibiotics, through taking anti-inflammatories, through etc., through being stressed, through trauma, through all sorts of things, really. There's so many things that can upset that stomach lining, that microbiome and bicome, fungus and bacteria. That's what I'm talking about. So you want, I think it's a bicome, but you want a balance of good fungus and good bacteria. And once you start getting bad bacteria and bad fungus in there, like candida, for example, it starts destroying your stomach lining. Now, candida lives in your system. You eat too much dairy, wheat, meat, sugar, drink alcohol, eat processed foods, you're going to start upsetting that whole system. And it's an amazing ecosystem, and it weighs a lot. I must check what it weighs. I've forgotten the kiloj. But once you start messing that up and you start creating holes, essentially, in your stomach, where you get leaky gut and you get toxins bleeding into your bloodstream. Remember, disease turns up in the bloodstream and can be seen in the bloodstream often before we see it anywhere else in the body. And then you also might get food particles leaking into that bloodstream. And then things like the liver have to deal with a food particle. You basically have a poisoned bloodstream. And it might not be sepsis, but you have a bloodstream that now has a whole lot of stuff in it that you don't want. So we need to do things to support our microbiome and microbiome. Why do I feel like I'm saying that wrong? Vitamin A might actually help promote the lactobacillus growth, which is one of the good bacteria in your stomach, which is super awesome. Slippery elm, one of my favorite things of all time, is super useful for helping to recoat the digestive tract. If you drink it rather than take it in a capsule, your digestive tract starts here and goes all the way down. Excuse me touching my face, I do live alone. And then further to that, where is it? Flora Active. This helps promote the growth of good flora and a good probiotic. So I like the Bioceuticals brand. I'm also checking into something called seed probiotics, which I ordered and are on their way. I also ordered them for some of my clients who have severe stomach issues, because seed probiotics have been studied to show that they get further down into the small intestine, which means they might have a benefit against something called SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So all of this stuff is really important. If you aren't, and then also you might want to look at digestive enzymes just for breaking down your food properly. And so I take a whole ton of proteolytics, and this also turns out to be an immune health booster. That's another one I really like. So excuse me flashing. These are we're getting into the expensive zone at the end of this, by the way, with regards to things like Inner Peace. Even these are quite expensive because of the kind of brand they are. But you can also eat foods. I would recommend running a course of something like this, and even something like this, and then switching over to a good diet. Moving on to good diet, inflammatory foods, too much red meat, Drinking in general is an inflammatory situation. There are reasons that it can be good for you, but you're better off in this situation taking a resveratrol supplement than arguing with me that red wine is good for you. In order to get enough resveratrol out of red wine, you'd have to drink like a whole vineyard. Please don't do that. That's going to cause you inflammation issues, which you don't want right now. Wheat is a highly processed, highly messed with grain, and causes inflammation, as can anything containing gluten, depending on the state of your stomach. So if your stomach is annoyed and you're throwing gluten into it, that protein may be too hard for it to digest. Dairy, again, in my opinion, another messed with product, and it can be highly inflammatory. Coffee, highly inflammatory, especially if it's full of mycotoxins and mold, which I've got bad news for you. Your local coffee store is not ensuring that their product is mold-free, and it most likely is not mold-free and is full of mycotoxins. And that includes what you had recently ground and put in your pantry for the next 4 weeks. So if you can cut down your coffee at the very least and replace it with black tea, there are benefits to black tea, but again, I would go for something lower in caffeine, because also you want to watch out for messing with your adenosine receptors and messing up your sleep. See my post earlier about that on my Instagram. I should also do a cast on that. What else? Inflammatory foods. Wheat, meat, dairy, sugar. 16 grams of sugar starts to switch off your immune system response. Probably worth knowing. I probably will run that at the start as well as at the end of this. So super important. What's your sugar intake? Especially for someone like me, I'm a chocolate lover. I tend to eat dark chocolate, but I can eat a lot of it. So I am being a little careful with that lately. Drink plenty of water. Get a good water system. You can probably order online from Watermins or what's it called? An alkalizing water filter. Can fill the water up from the tap, and it strips the water and then remineralizes it so that it's easy for your system to absorb. Again, I could do a whole cast on quality water. Maybe I'll interview that guy at some stage. He's amazing about it. It's all about inflammatory foods, wheat, meat, dairy, sugar, alcohol, processed foods. I think that's a no-brainer if we haven't worked that one out by now. And processed foods do include your gluten-free rubbish. There's a lot of gluten-free rubbish out there. I include a lot of those gluten-free breads. Better to take those in than glutinous breads, I would probably suggest. Though if you don't have a gluten issue, I would probably go for a really good sprouted like sourdough bread over a gluten-free bread, just because the gluten-free breads have a tendency to be made of rubbish. There is a really good brand here called Thoroughbread, and I reserve my judgment there because I think she does a beautiful artisanal loaf. What else do I talk about? Things you can eat that are good. Yogurt, preferably not dairy-based. So, but that is the lesser of dairy evils. But I go for a coconut yogurt. You can get almond-based yogurt. You can get soy yogurt. They've all got active lactobacillus in them and various other strains, which are really good. You can eat sauerkraut. Kombucha, unless you're making it at home, probably not great. You want to be making your own if you're doing kombucha. I really like the Little Island coconut water kefir. That woman makes the real deal product. It's medicinal. You take a small shot of it. Please read the label. And I've used it at doses. I think it's like a little coconut water kefir sipper, it's called, or something like that. More Wilson's has it. The organic store often has it, usually in the probiotic area. And I'm trying to think what else. Digestive enzymes, proteolytics, super helpful for the function of your system. Once you pass 27, you start depleting your proteolytic reserves. So being at the ripe old age that I am, I of course take proteolytics quite often. I even take them as a sleep aid at times. I didn't bring my sleep aid out here. These guys, you can only get these online, by the way. You cannot get them in New Zealand. They also make a sleep aid that I get my clients to take, and they swear by it. I swear by it. My Aura ring that measures sleep swears by it. Yeah, okay. But yeah, basically that fermented foods of a good kind are good for your stomach. I'm going to repost my tummy tea, which also deals with hormones and stuff like that as well. So we're looking for balance. We're looking to breathe out There's a whole nother area of topic where we talk about the things that you can do for free in your home, which include things like chanting and singing to boost your vagus nerve, which stimulates your immune system. Also things like sitting on the floor are a really good idea because it tunes your pulsative and your peristaltic system, and you don't want your system to shut down while you're at home. So make sure you're getting up every morning, get out in the sun, go for a walk, get your body thinking it's alive so that it stays that way. Thank you very much. Any questions, please post them below or post them wherever you like. And if you want in on my email, like send me your email address somewhere, private message me on any of my systems. I'm on Facebook under Erin Palashik, personal training and nutrition, under Holy Health Foods, under Instagram on Erin Palashik, and also my website should go up sometime this week. I'm just fussing over it and taking way too much time with it. If you like this video, please hit like and also hit subscribe if you want to hear more free stuff from me. Also, I have a Patreon account where I'm doing yoga classes and movement classes. It's pretty cheap for those of you that want to keep moving, so check that out too. I have not yet started it. I am waiting for some of you to click on, but I will be starting this Friday. Yay! So that's really exciting. Thank you all for your support. Thank you to my clients who have been absolutely amazing. Those of you who I know are under more financial struggle than others, please don't worry about me. I am a fighter and a survivor. And those of you who have supported me and have done your best to make sure that I can stay eating and alive in this time, thank you so much. I'm so truly grateful. To all of my friends who've been really supportive, how amazing. And just another plug for my friend Estelle Peacock, who isn't going to be doing much sewing unless you order stuff online from her. These are really cool and you can wash them in nice hot soapy water. Please remember to wash your hands. Don't spit on anyone. Not cool. Thank you very much. Have a good day.